All right, so we're back at it again, and this time I'm gonna go over my updated Dragunity deck list. I don't know why I couldn't find the words. So I'm actually going to start off first with the version that I'm using for the Duelist Cup. It's not too different from the other ones that I'm running, but like I made it smaller and more compact. And so this is the version. It's 45. You're going to find that the others are like in the 50s. Um, but I went with this variant. I completely dropped the Miss Valley Baby Rock, and I'm explaining the reason real quick. That's what I'm going to start off this whole thing with. Is Gusto Griffin doesn't miss timing. So if this card is sent from your hand to your graveyard, you can special summon one Gusto monster from the deck. So it can special summon another one of itself. It's a winged beast. It's not a tuner, so you can't go into like Crystal Wing early. So you do lose out on that option, and maybe you want to maintain that in case you want to be able to play through a Nibiru without having to like hard draw your cross out Destinator and running Nibiru in your deck, because this isn't running it. You'll see me the other side I am. But I found that this has actually been pretty beneficial. So the reason being is, let's say in your opening theoretical hand, you have Dragon Ravine, Gusto Griffin, Kaoki Miru Dragon, Dragunity Armagrom, and Triple Tactics Talent. So for the most part, like you got plays, but you're gonna have to like kind of work through it or whatever. But when you use your Dragon Ravine, you have to send something. Now, typically, you'd be like, oh, well, I could just send Dragunity Armagrom. But if you send Gusto Griffin, so in that same scenario, if you had Miss Valley Baby Rock, you couldn't send it. It has to stay in your hand. In this scenario, you could use your Dragon Ravine, send the Gusto Griffin, search for either your Remus or your Sinitus, whatever your flavor is at the moment. I would probably go Remus. And when you discard it for the cost of Dragon Ravine, it will trigger its effect and then special summon another Gusto Griffin. Then you use your Remus effect, get another Ravine, use that Ravine, send a Grom, get your Sinitus, special summon it, and then now you have your level 6 on the field. And instead of at this point having to search your Miss Valley Baby Rock, you can instead go ahead and search your Blackwing or your Samsara Dragon, or if instead you know didn't have Kaoki Meter Dragon in your hand, you could have swapped out for like maybe a different dragon in your hand, because now you can go into your Romulus without needing to trigger your Miss Valley Baby Rock in the graveyard with your Synchro 6 effect. So I found that that's been pretty beneficial, and it also gives you an indication once this monster hits the field, if they have something that could negate your effect. You can potentially customize your play to avoid like the infirm or something like that to kind of help you play through it. So there's that. I've also went and started going back into the obliques. This has been pretty beneficial, and any hand that either opened it or Dragunity Glow in a starter, I pretty much win. I've only had the board broken once, and it was a Brave Sky Striker, and their hand was cracked, like literally cracked. They traded because it's like 5 interactions if you have the oblique, and they literally traded 5 for 5 and still had a starter. It was ridiculous. They were just a better player. They were just better. But yeah, their hand was cracked. But that was literally the only time you don't lose to Sword Soul. If you go first and you open and you have your oblique, most decks won't use their Forbidden Droplets to send a trap, meaning that your counter trap negates it, and there's nothing that they can really do about it. Because of course you'll have your Borlo Savage Dragon for an Omni negate, and then you have your 2 monster negates. You have your bounce. And then, of course, you have your interaction to go into him to prevent any light or darkness special summons. So, in most of the cases, that's pretty much just a GG. And we're running it in this kind of concise manner to just be as efficient as possible. 2 call buys, 2 gammas, 3 cross out designators. The whole thing is we do not want our opponent to hit us with maxi if we can start. Like, we just do not want it. I could run 3 ashes. I mean, clearly you can see I have 3. I just think that that's more of a brick than anything else. You can add 3. I just don't prefer 3 ashes, but I have the minimum 1 for the cross out designator target, and just for the off chance I draw it. And I am sticking to the Samsara Dragon. It's been pretty beneficial in those weird hands where you still need to make board. It's actually pretty useful in helping you make board. So it's a good card. I'm gonna leave it in the deck. I still think it's just like it's a little extra extender, kind of forcing you to have to run 2 seal. But if you have a weird hand, it kind of helps you play through it to make sure your play is just a little bit more consistent. And other than that, it's pretty much the same as always. I've dropped down to 2 whirlwinds. I was at one point only playing the 1. I wasn't playing them at all, but I decided that there were still times I was going second and still found it hard drawing it. Going second is still pretty much a win if they can't negate it. So this is what I've been using for the Duelist Cup. It's basically 3, 6, 7, 8, 10, 13, 14. It's like 14 starter cards. So most of your hands you should open something to start your combo with. Not this hand, but this hand. This hand. Not this hand. Yeah, okay, so anyway. You should. Doesn't mean you will, but you should. But that's the one I've been playing. In terms of the ladder, this is the one I've been typically going into. It's just basically more hand traps. So this time around we have 3 maxis. Still only playing the 1 Ash Blossom. I could play 2, but you'll see I have the Nibiru. I have more infinite impermanences. Lightning Storm, Dark Ruler No More, Forbidden Droplets, Regeki, Harpy's Feather Duster. So just a couple of cards to break boards because you never know. During the Duelist Cup, I haven't seen too many back row decks, and honestly, if I see a back row deck, I just scoop. But on the ladder, you typically don't want to scoop, so I play this. Yeah, there will be those times where you're playing and you're just not going to get what you need. Like if this was a going first hand, my only play is like normal summon Keoki Meter Dragon and hope that I'm able to search the dragon and add it to my hand, and hope that they're playing Drytron, in which case I'll win. But as you can see, some of these hands are just a little bit harder to kind of make it play through. So it's built a little bit better going second, because like this hand going second, you have Nibiru and the Gamma, and then you have Dragunity Whirlwind, and then you have a whole starter with Dark Ruler No More. It's like going second, these hands, as you can tell, would be phenomenal. This is decent going first, assuming you don't get ashed. So a lot of this is a little bit better going second for breaking boards, which has been pretty beneficial in a lot of the cases, because on the ladder you're typically just going to lose the coin toss and you just gotta break through. But as you can see, most of these hands could break through and typically do something. In this case, you would just kind of hope that they have to activate a monster effect, you draw the 2, and then you can play the game. So that's what this has been. And then I had another version which was a little bit more hand trap oriented. I think I had like 3 ashes or something like that in this one, and it's probably the same deck. Yeah, this one had the 3 ash, 3 this one was literally like just go second. That's why I'm playing like 3 lightning storms, 3 whirlwinds, evenly matched. It's still pretty much the same core, but again, the main thing is just like with this one, your goal is to go second and break their board. Opening like this, either if you're playing against outlets or something, you just evenly match them and then make your board. And if it's something that you can play through, bait the ash or Remus, then whirlwind and go crazy. As you can see here, most of these opening hands, they'll have some type of hand trap. If not, as you see here, I have Forbidden Droplets, and the cool thing, the cool interaction with Forbidden Droplets and Gusto Griffin, again, you can activate this effect. So in this opening hand, I can use the Forbidden Droplets to send Gusto Griffin and Blackwing to the graveyard and negate some cards and cry about it, because I ain't about to make a whole board through all that, but I could do something like that. You know, this opening hand, again, it's a starter, and we got the cross out and all that stuff. So this is this one I will intentionally go second and just kind of play through. And as you can see, a lot of these hands, they'll be able to break something. And I have the one effect Veiler again just for the cross out target. So the one effect Veiler, the one Nibiru. I would play some other hand traps, but these are the more common ones that I would come across. You know, as long as you open the cross out Destinator, if you do end up going first, if for whatever reason they have you go first, and a hand like this is good enough to open and play through one hand trap, possibly even two. So, and Senatus, as long as you open a Dragunity card, it's still a combo, so you can still make a board. You have 3 defensive tools. You're not going to get Max Seed. They're not going to Ghost Ogre you. Then they're not going to Nibiru you. You know, so you're effectively able to play through every single hand trap that they can give. It will still be a suboptimal board, but the fact that you're able to make a board, and if you do trade 3, you're probably just going to win that duel. And if you end up in a situation like this going second, I mean, you can effectively still stop whatever they are trying to make going second, or at least stall them out. So these are the updated Dragunity decks that I've been playing, the 3 different versions of them. I would definitely say if you're looking to more streamline your deck, use this one more as the catalyst. This is definitely, I would say, more in line. You probably only want to play one of the hand traps each, just so you have a cross out Destinator target. Maxi is ridiculous. You want to negate it, because if they Maxi you and it resolves, you just lose the duel. It doesn't matter what you have in your hand, you're going to lose the duel. They can let you set your whole board, not negate a single thing. You'll have everything on the board, you're going to lose the duel. I guarantee it, you'll lose the duel. So you do not want them to resolve their Maxi, so even potentially playing more Ash Blossoms would be helpful. But yep, then I made this because somebody in the comments wanted me to make an updated Dragunity profile, and here we go. This is what I've been running recently. I love it. I love the Gusto Griffin tech, and also if you do want one other tech, Small World is great. You can play 3 Small Worlds. Fun fact, Gusto Griffin gives you a bridge to Dragunity Remis in the form of Max C. So they're both level 2. This gets you to Max C, and then Max C is level 2, which gets you to Dragunity Remis. So your Small World can search your Remis, provided you have Gusto Griffin, or even if you open like a Gamma, this can also still get you there. It's a level 2. It can get you to Max C, who can then get you to Remis. In fact, there's a ton of ways. I think you can even use Driver. You can use Driver. He'll search your Gamma. No, they're both flying a second. Never mind. But yeah, there's plenty of ways that you can do it and still manage to get to your Remis. So Small World is also a good option if you want to have more starters. In this case, you would get rid of the Whirlwinds, because that's originally what I was running, was the Small Worlds over the Whirlwinds. And with this, you're able to more reliably get to your Remis on turn 1. But this means that turn 2, if you're going second, you're not really going to have too many options in terms of like breaking established boards and having additional starters that can get you full play, because Dragunity Whirlwind is absolutely a full play on its own. So I did want to just point that out there, that Small World perfectly fits in this deck, and a lot of your targets will absolutely work. I think you can use just about any card in the deck to get you to Remis if you're really open, and the game will do the work for you. So just keep in mind that you do not want to banish your Phalanx or your Koos, as we are running the minimum of these to make our board. 2 of these, 1 of it, that's all you need. In terms of the extra deck, just to kind of go over it, you probably want to actually do it like this. I actually find that only having 1 of these is better than having 2 of these, but yeah, this is pretty much the standard. You can probably flex a couple of other things in here. You probably don't need the Scarlet Red Dragon, and you don't need 2 Gay Dirks, but I like to have 2 just in case one of them gets negated or something. You definitely want to have 2 Seal, because you still want to end on the Seal for your final end board. And then of course your boss monsters. Excelsior is great for just O2 King if you go second, and you know, he's of course good going first, and he's just your plays to get into it. Alright, man, that's pretty much everything. So hope you liked the video. And also another nerd thingy, you can play Barrier Statue in this deck and it works perfectly. But I don't want to be that toxic. You can do it. You can do it. You can actually, if your hand is cracked enough, you can use your Gay Dirk to search your Barrier Statue and then send another card from your hand to the graveyard. Do full combo just by using your Samsara Dragon to kind of set up your board without using up your normal summon, and then just normal summon the Barrier Statue in attack mode. And then you should be able to still pop your Seal. Whatever they decide to normal summon, you bounce that back to the hand, and then you can summon any of your win monsters. It doesn't matter, your whole deck is win. So you could also use Barrier Statue of the Storm, you know, but don't. We're not that degenerate around here. Actually, act like I didn't even tell you that. Alright. And I might stream today. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll catch y'all later.